Welcome everyone. Today we have another new episode, and we have a very important guest from USA. He is a chairman of US Chamber of Commerce. He do lot of engagement in business industry. He do lot of consultings, lot of research, lot of travels, and especially they arrange sustainable developments conference, many interesting activities they are doing right now. So hello Mr. Holmes, how are you today?
I'm fine.
Thank you, sir. Sir, can you please introduce yourself? I know that you have a huge career and lot of activities you are doing with your team, so please share with our audience.
Well, my name is Holmes Toner. I'm the founder and chairman of the Pacific Rim Business Council and the American International Chamber of Commerce. I am the of several other companies that watch over the board of directors, 11 more. So I'm traveling a lot and in a lot of Zoom meetings. So I started this organization 35 years ago. We have 22 affiliates around the world, including Europe. We're in Dubai, in Mumbai, we're in Bangkok, Manila, Hanoi, uh, Shanghai, Beijing, Seoul, Korea, Tokyo, and Mexico City, Lima, Peru, San Jose, New York, Los Angeles, San Francisco, Vancouver, and Toronto. So our whole objective here is to promote trade, tourism, technology, and cultural exchange throughout the world. My main objective is to promote sustainability for the 21st century. So that's pretty much the background.
Thank you, sir. Sir, when I do research about your careers and everything, you have a very dynamic business relationship around the world, especially Asia Pacific and around the world. You have a very good relations, very dynamic network and relationship. How you grow your this relationship around the world? This will be guidelines and like advice for the new entrepreneur like me. On the other hand, I want to know, like example, what will be the situation after this COVID-19 in business arena? What your predictions? What do you want to see the world next 5 to 10 years?
Anytime you go to the world, and by the way, we represent we represent the small business. We don't represent medium size or large size or international business. We represent small business. So if you have a company with 100 workers less, then you want to know because we have to connect people. Our whole main objective is if you were in the business and you raise sugarcane, you're looking for a market, well, then you want to know because then we'll introduce you to distributors and people that are in the industry and people that can help you in different countries. And it's not so bureaucratic because you're talking from one small business to another small business where there's not a lot of tape. There's a communication on a personal level between one small business and another, which makes the business happen quicker, more efficient. Uh, the the whole reason that small business fails is basically because they don't have access to capital and they have no room for growth because they don't know anything. Okay, and they can't. They're not like a big corporation that can hire a law firm or an Accenture or a consulting company. They don't have money for it, so they end up being a big fish in a small pond, or they have a 3 year limitation growth and then they fail. The whole keep small business growing is to make your establish your goal, connect to all the people that are going to be able to help you reach that goal, and then step until you reach that. And people around the world, whether you're from India or China or Brazil or any country in the world, doesn't matter. Every one of them is the same. They have the same desire. They want to connect and grow. They can't do it with the way structures are set up uh, in the bigger institution. So that's why I started this. Also with uh, the environmental issue, which is it's a big issue for us because I own another company called the Green Alliance, and the Green Alliance is an education program where we teach small business to be better environmental. So we have education programs, we have recycling programs, and we teach people about biofuels and clean energy like that, so that small businesses who account for most of the pollution in the world can learn more about how to change their habits so that the environment won't be so damaged. But there are issues. Mainly, tourism, technology, and cultural exchange are the main issues.
Sir, in present situations, even in Malaysia, we are observing that many small medium enterprise, they are in trouble because of this COVID-19 situation. Many small organizations, small business organization, they do not have enough finance, even if Malaysian government trying to help this small medium enterprise. But what the strategy for this small organization, and they can survive, or how actually from North America and from your organizations they can collaborate, or they can work in a proper ecosystem? What your advice or suggestion?
We have a lot of we have 455,000 companies members. Okay, so we have a very large, spread out group of small business. But one thing I realized in the last 10 years uh, is that as business it adapts to its environment. What happens, and we've been seeing a lot, especially recently because of the COVID, is people are gravitating more and more towards the computer. Okay, so when they become more dependent on computers, you see companies like Amazon and Google and the rest of them exploding in growth, and their stock goes through the roof at the expense of the small guys who can't do that. So the only recourse is, instead of going against the grain, is go with the grain. So if these people and these companies are going to grow exponentially as they are, then you have to be a part of what they're doing instead of trying to continue things the older way. You either adapt or die in today's environment, especially with the COVID going on, and it'll probably be here next. So by thinking, oh, there's going to be a vaccine, oh, there's going to be a cure, oh, there's going to be this, so pandemics last years. Endemic pandemics are for life, and they morph and they mutate. You know, the COVID-19 is not COVID-19. It's COVID-64. It is mutated 4 times, and it's going to mutate more. So you better take your small business and start doing what it does. Mutate. Okay. Go to the place where you can survive. Because if you continue depending on the government and depend on the traditional way, you won't be here next year. So you have to be more dependent on interactivity. You have to be more dependent on direct approach and do your contracts on the computer. You do all your illustrations, all of your presentations, everything online. Nobody's traveling. But in a strange way, it's better for the small business because then you small businesses actually survive on trade show. They go this trade show and that trade show, this trade show, and that trade show. And what happens when you go to trade show, you have to probably take a few assistants with you. You have to fly somewhere. You have to get a hotel room and pay for that. You've got to rent your booth or your display area and bring all your things you've got to eat, right? So you end up spending thousands and thousands of dollars you don't have on the risk that the people at that trade show are going to buy something. Well, now you can't travel and you're forced to do their business online. You've saved hundreds of thousands of dollars. So now you have to learn how to do that business like a trade, except virtually. That's the truth. And our whole platform of our business council and our commerce is to teach you how to do it. And the other thing we can offer people is if they really, really want to be at a trade show, we will set up a virtual trade show for them. In other words, you send me a box of all of your promotional materials, everything that you want to present. You send it by UPS or by FedEx or whatever you send it by. Comes to our offices over here. We will hire some college kid or somebody to go and work the booth, set up your operation, put up a laptop so that you can see what's going on 24/7. Use that booth, and you can see what your customers are. And your customers can walk over to the screen and talk to you, and you're not. These are what we have. We have to be creative. We have to create ways of interactivity. We have to create ways to educate. We have to create ways to close deals because you're not going to be able to do it the old way anymore. This has changed everything. You have to be more creative or you're not going to survive.
Sir, you are sharing your experience and sharing your previous all of the experience with our audience. Besides that example, the world never seen this kind of COVID-19. The world never seen this kind of economical challenge and this kind of things. Even yes, every government actually trying to solve these things, but even yes, Malaysia playing very good role in COVID-19 situation, but other Asia Pacific countries, even South Asian countries, they have a lot of challenge. Challenge meaning healthcare system, they have challenges. They have challenges for their economical sustainability. They have unemployment related problem. They have different kind of mega projects, but it's not working properly. Political leaders and the corruptions, this is also another challenges for many countries. So a lot of things, but how actually like example we can overcome from different kind of challenges, because example, small business, they do not have enough money in hand. Even always we see that the big corporation, they're getting more support for survival, but small organizations, they have to take lot of challenges only for survival issues. What your advice, how we can overcome from these challenges, and how the global arena we can get more support and we can get more collaboration?
Well, you have to first of all go back to the way business is structured. You have a buyer sell. Okay, basic business. You have a product, you have a buyer, and you have a seller. Okay. Now you have to figure out how you're going to use that equation in today's world. Okay, so The fact of the matter is that when you buy something or you sell something, you use some kind of currency. Okay, the currency situation is in fluctuation also because of COVID-19, and people are finding it more challenging to money around and to convert from one currency to another. That's a big issue, especially for small business, because it'll eat your profit margins. Uh, just right now, I mean, I just wired some money to China yesterday, and I think it was a few $1,000, for $5,000 or $6,000, and the fees were much higher than they were this year, and it's a lot to do with smaller staff, longer hours, more cost. Okay, so as these things go along, when you're trying to do business, first thing you need to look at is what are the new forms of currency? What are the new forms of moving money? Now we have like apps that you can put in your phone, like Venmo, uh, Cash App, and all of these things, and even Pay and all that sort of stuff. And but the next level is going to be virtual currency, which is blockchain and uh, virtual money. That is a fact. And you see the big banks, they don't tell you this, but they're very, very active in figuring out those applications because that's where it's going. And small business is going to get caught with a big box of cash in their safe, and they're not going to be able to use it pretty soon. So you have to stay informed, and you have to be ahead of the curve and read the trends. You have to be a I mean, basically, now more than ever, you have to be able to see the future and stay informed. Uh, as far as corruption is concerned, corruption has been around since man has. You can always expect somebody wants more than the other guy, and he doesn't want. Okay, so he doesn't want to compete for it. So he'll take a little bit of money out of his pocket, give it to somebody else, and say, "Give it to me, I'll give you this." Well, they've been doing that for a long time. The only way that you can minimize corruption, okay, is to pay government workers more money. Government workers take the bribes because they, as I talk to them all the time, they feel that they're not doing anything wrong because they're not getting paid enough money to live. Most of these working for the government, no matter if they're in China or India or Russia or wherever, they get very little money working for the government. The only thing they get is security. So when somebody says, "I've 100,000, if I can build this building," well, they're going to get that 100,000 because they could live for 10 years on that. It's just a human need to be able to provide for themselves and their family. And somebody comes along and tries to bribe them. There's a very strong uh, desire to get rid of all the threats by taking this money. Instead, they create even more problems. But that's just the way of the world. So the only way to see that you can minimize corruption is to pay people that work in governments.
So thank you. This is actually a very good discussion. Besides that, I want to know more about your Pacific rhyme and how it works with. I saw that you have a representative from different countries. So what's your next plan? What you want to do with your forum, with your like Chamber of Commerce, with the Pacific rhyme? How you want to work
At my
together?
age, my dear friend, my age, and I've been doing this for very, very, very long time. There's only one thing that I have in mind, and that is to make sure that human beings have a better life in the future than they do. And to do that, you have to become more self uh, sufficient. and you have to be more environmentally conscious because as the escalation that we have right now, with 8 billion people on our planet, and within the next years, another 25%. That means as the resources are contracting and the populations are expanding, you better learn how to sustain yourself because you're going to have to learn to live with less, and you're going to have to compete a lot more with it. So my job is to take all of these companies that I'm running and these companies that I own, put them all together, internationalize it all, educate people as best I can, and teach them to sustain themselves for a century in the best way I know how. And to do that, I need the help of other experts in other countries, and that's why I reach out to people that I meet and the people that I think that have the same goals as I do, and I put them in the team, and we all work with a worldwide team to do the same agenda.
Yes, this is very interesting because I believe that if entrepreneur get your experience, get your guideline, get your mentorship, it will be very good experience and very good like example even for Asia Pacific market because like example like when actually you bring all of your last years and years experience and the different cultural people will integrate it with you, this will be really really helpful. Besides that, I know that you are arranging different conference, sustainability conference, peace related activities, and even many interesting activities you are organizing. So my question is that now actually we have uh, uh, many different group of people, different minded peoples. So how your this initiative, your conference, your business initiative, your collaborative initiative can bring all of the good mind peoples and all of the talented different talent people in same platform. What are the valuable things you want to share with this
Well, the
local
two most
community?
important things are remove the things that make people fight and argue and disagree most, which is politics and religion. Those are completely put to the side. We don't want anything to do with either one of those issues. Okay, even though they play a big part in how people live their daily lives, we're business people. Okay, we're business people. Our lives are dependent on how many people walk in that door every day. Okay, I don't care what religion they are, I don't care what color they are, and I don't care, what their beliefs are. It doesn't matter to me. Are you going to buy a speaker? Are you going to buy a computer? Are you going to buy some furniture? That matters. Okay, so when you take it down to the common denominator, all business, all people, all small entrepreneurs are basically the same. They all need the same thing. They need to feed their families. They need to have cash flow every day, and they need to keep up with the new society because a lot of these people die and fall by the wayside because they do not understand the new world, the technology revolution. Do not understand it. They don't know how to use it, and in fact, they try to shun it. They try to walk away from it. They try to act like it's not going to matter. But it it really, really matters. And for the young people today, people young like you and all your constituents in Malaysia, for instance, you're lucky. You pretty much when I was in Kuala Lumpur last 2 years ago. I was so impressed by number one, it's modernity, very, very modern. I didn't expect it. Very, very clean, very clean, and uh, uh, well maintained. The way that the highway from the airport went into the city, so everything was well done because it's new, and you'll see in China because I lived in China for a long time. What you see tearing down the old building anew. China, it looks like a brand new toy coming out of the box. Because when I first went there in 1985, there was gravel streets and people riding bicycles. That's 1985. Today, it's more modern than any place on earth because they started effort to do that. First of all, number one is to create the best infrastructure you can make. The best highways, the best railroads, the best ports, the best everything, so you can move things. Things can move around smoothly, seamlessly. That's the most important. Because if you don't have that, then these manufacturers are going to look for a different place to set up. Because they need to move product and they need it quickly and efficiently. I found that Malaysia was a place that was far superior to most of the other countries down there because their infrastructure was so well defined. Well, other people have to do that. We have to teach them to do that because if they don't have it, if we have it, we still can't do business. For instance, I have an order today for some merchandise to go to where is it going? Going to Dominican Republic in the Caribbean. Okay, the merchandise being manufactured in Vietnam. So we have to get it on a ship. We have to send it through the Panama Canal, through the Caribbean, through the Gulf of Mexico to the Caribbean, and then around to the other side of the Dominican Republic and unload the ship. Okay, there are a lot of things that complicate that transaction, mostly in logistics, because you have to make sure that the weather's okay. There's a hurricane there, right? Okay, you can't ship in the middle of a hurricane, so that puts you back a week. When you push you back a week, costs go up about 10 to 15%. You were not anticipating. That has to come somewhere. It comes from your profit. Okay, so any way you look at it, you have to bring all these extraneous issues all together at the same time before you start presenting the product and selling it. Because most small businesses are very naive about what might happen, will happen. They always, their life like the world. Stars in their life, they're going to take over the world. I'm going to make a new kind of circuit board. I'm going to make a new kind of watch. I'm going to make a new kind of house. And the whole world's going to love my product. Okay, so I try to make it affordable enough that I can compete in the open market. But then when I open up the international market, that big bugaboo jumps out. Logistics. Logistics. Do you have a deep airport? No, I don't. So how do I pick up the merchandise? Do you have a rail system to get the ore from the jungle to the port? No, I don't. That means you're going to have to make a road, put in trucks and whatever. That's going to take years. Well, I'm going to go sell some by myself. All of these things, all are interactive, and if they're not all integrated properly, you can't do good business. China elevated itself over a 30-year period because they did the right thing. They did their infrastructure before they did anything. That infrastructure was in place before the factories were there. Okay, don't build a factory and then try to build infrastructure. Doesn't work that way. Okay, and the fact of the matter is that the whole population of people in that country or in that region or that state or that province, they all have to have the same design and have to work together. They don't. When you fight, nothing happens. And usually it's politics and religion. So we stick on those issues as far as we can. And we don't care what country it is or what religion it is. We're there to do business. We're there to help the entrepreneur in Malaysia meet the entrepreneur in Mexico. Okay. We want to get along. We want to see them thrive and grow because they're connected. It's a real equation. The way it works is very simple. It's person to person. Small business is very personal. Big business is not. You know, most people want to get a job. They want to go to a university. They want to graduate. They want to get a good job, work some. Those days are done. It doesn't work like that. 70% of the people on this planet Earth work at a small company. 70. Okay. They don't work for IBM. They don't work for Google. They don't work for Sign County. They don't work for them. They work at the restaurant. They're parking cars. They're cooking food. They're they're fixing computers. These are the people. These are our people, the people that I represent. My job is to improve their lives by connecting them up, getting them out of their backyard into the street. Entrepreneurs, everything to keep this world going. If we're up these corporations, it should be 4 or 5 companies, and that'd be it. Well, we're the lifeblood of small business, and you can see that people like what we do because our numbers are huge. We have separate companies that teach people about agriculture, teach them about shelter and the right way to build housing and the ways to set up communities and infrastructure and transportation and clean energy and clean water and waste management and all these kinds of things. So we can at least put a hold on global warming, which is one of the reasons these diseases are coming out because as this permafrost in the poles melt, all these germs and microbes are released into the atmosphere. You don't know what's going to happen in the future. So you don't. This is just going to fade away. This is not going to be around it. As long as the earth keeps warming, we're going to get things. They're all related. Everybody doesn't kind of figure this out. Everything is related. All the earth needs to do is to sneeze. Human beings are gone. We have a very fine line that we have to walk to be in harmony with our planet. And our job is to teach people how to do that. So that's pretty much my speech.
Brilliant, actually, sir, brilliant. Because how you thinking about people, 70% of the people, this is actually really, really important in present society. That is the things always. Also, I try to share with the different kind of multinational companies and different kind of governments and policymakers. I said that we have to think about microeconomics, not too much of macro. The more we focus on microeconomics, then economy will be sustainable. Economy will be more efficient and more effective. But unfortunately, many developing nations still they are running behind these big projects and big activities, and sometimes they are not care about this microeconomics. They are not care about the much communication, the small business organization. This is very inspiring, very positive that you have uh, core understanding about society. You have core understanding about cultures and about the people mind. This is very important, but unfortunately many governments and the corporation they do not study this beauty of microeconomics. Beside that, I just want to share like example, Malaysia has Islamic finance. Malaysia has different kind of microfinance initiative and other things. Even they have different kind of natural resources, their own business and other things. Like how actually Malaysian even Asia Pacific Business Organization, they can create more, what you say, that developing more business, buy and selling, very common sense of the business. how you want to advise them or how you want to guide them, because we will try to explore it as much as possible in between
Well,
the.
once you get past the logistical issues and you have that ironed out, then the next is a big issue that I learned living in Asia for many years is the Asian people in general don't believe in market where the Western people live on. We on the side are the purchasers, the consumers, the buyers. Everybody to sell to us, okay? And the deal is that the process of doing that requires a lot of spin, as we call it, spin marketing. In fact, in the United States, when we have these seminars and teach small businesses about their financing and how they're setting up, we find out when reading a lot of their business plans that their marketing budgets are so dramatically low. I mean, 25 to 30 cents out of every profitable dollar you make has to go back into your marketing and your sales, marketing, advertising. I owned an advertising agency for 16 years, a very large advertising agency. I did the advertising worldwide for United Airlines, AT&T, and Blue Cross. And I used to advise my clients all the time, you know, get about everything else, about the little guy. The little guy makes 70% of your marketplace. So you have, we spend somewhere between $300-400 million a year with those companies reaching out to these international markets, advertising, radio, television, billboards, and so forth. But when you go the boat around and you go over there and you say, I'm trying to sell to the Americans, they have no money for advertising. I remember well, in 1985, I was I was offered the account to promote the Chinese national children to the America, west coast of America. Uh, at that time, I was doing advertising for the Mexican tourism, so and Mexico. Their advertising budget was $32 million. China's China. Their entire budget for the whole year was $8 million, and they were very uh, hesitant about that. So the fact of the matter is, you cannot make a business successful if you don't take at least 25 to 30% of your profit margins and plow it back into advertising and marketing and distribution. And they don't do that properly. That's our number one mistake that small businesses make. I remember living in Vietnam for a few years. When I was living in Vietnam for a few years, I was, hold on a second, my volume. What am I doing? I was helping these people that they were building these little small businesses, selling golf clubs, selling furniture, a lot of retail businesses. And I'd say, can I come to your store? Sure. And I'd go down there and I'd walk in and all this beautiful inventory, brand new storefront, everything really nicely done. Not one penny of advertising. Their idea of advertising was taking a little bucket, sitting on a front porch, eating noodles, and when people would walk by, they would just wait and see if the customers would come in. It doesn't work that way. It does not work that way. You have to, when you open a small business, you have to be an accountant, you have to be an advertising executive, you have to be an inventory specialist, you have to be a lawyer, you have to be all these things in one person. So how do you do that? You have to study, you have to educate yourself. So that's pretty much the long and the short of it. Listen, I have my one of my investors is calling me right now. It seems it's an urgent call, so I'm going to have to leave.
Okay, okay. Thank you, sir. Basically, if in the future we can arrange different kind of group discussion, we can arrange different kind of policy discussion, because policy is also important in terms of government's initiative and other things. And hopefully, your experience will be very valuable for World Talent Economy Forum. And definitely, we will help you to collaborate with lot more small medium enterprise, small business, and by this way, definitely it will be very good and effective forum, and we will make more successful business together.
Well,
Thank
I'm
you.
very happy. I'm very happy to be here with you. I'm very happy that you and I are together, and I'm here anytime you want because relations are very important to us.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, for your valuable time and everything.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Yeah.